Hey guys, thanks for joining me this week on For All Things Lexington. It's the only show dedicated to Lexington, South Carolina. Here, you'll hear me talk to people, groups, bands, and organizations about where to go, what to do, and who's who in and all around our beautiful Lake Murray. I'm your host, Angela Barrett, and this is For All Things Lexington. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in today. I have with me Stephen Jacobs. He is the author of the recently released The Lake Murray Murders. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so not your first book, but we're going to stick with this one for a little while.
That's fine.
The book is fantastic.
Thank you.
True story?
No, it's mostly all fiction.
And it was just published in February this year, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Are any parts other than, obviously, the places that you name are very familiar if you are here in or ever been on Lake Murray,
Mm-hmm.
any other parts that might be true, characters changed, those kinds of things?
For the most part, by and large, no. There are not in this particular book. Some of my books are based on real people that I've just kind of like changed the names and stuff a little bit. But this book here pretty much is all made up.
And so none of the characters are kind of took on the life of somebody you knew, but...
No, not in this one.
Okay, gotcha. So how did you come up with this? I mean, what was your inspiration for this?
Well, I've done several different books, so I like to work on books that places that I've actually been, that I actually have experience with, and I've done some like towards downtown Columbia and Casey and that kind of area in my hometown of Wilmington and places. But I wanted to do one that was specific to the lake, because we all know people around here love their lake.
That's why they come here.
Yes, I started kicking around a few ideas here and there, and eventually I settled on a murder mystery, good old-fashioned murder mystery, and it just kind of took off from there.
Who's your favorite character in the book?
I'd have to say Amy Stella.
Yeah. So without giving the whole book away, just kind of tell everybody what it's about without giving the whole book. They need to read it.
It all starts off in the 1960s with an art theft in Atlanta, and the art thief gets away. None of the art's ever recovered. And as you're reading, you don't understand at first what this has to do with the murders and everything. But eventually, as you read more, you're going to find out that it is tied to a murder back in 1990, and then a murder that happens in today, in the present time. So it's all related in some way, shape, or fashion, but you got to read all the way through it to find out.
That's right. And there's a lot of detail into like some of the murder, and at least in the beginning, and the detail. I guess that's what I'm looking for. It's almost maybe like you had experienced something, or you watch a lot of horror movies.
Well, we watch a lot. My wife and I, we do watch a lot of TV.
Right.
But I try and keep it, I want people to know what happens, but I try and keep it clean at the same time.
Yeah. No, I didn't mean gore.
Right. Yeah.
There
right.
was a lot of detail.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And which I enjoyed for sure. So now, when did you first start writing?
About 9 years ago or so, maybe 10 years ago now. I had the pleasure of working with a young lady named Kathy Little, where I used to work, or where I still work. And she approached me one day and told me that she had written a book. And I've always been a reader. I've loved to read books ever since I was in school. And I was kind of intrigued, and I asked her how she did it. She told me the whole process. And then I was like, well, I know about history and everything. I love history. So I could probably spin something. So it took me about a year to make my first one. And I loved every minute of it and have a blast doing it and doing all the research for it and everything. So I just kind of took off from there.
So you've got I think 12 books out?
This one makes 14 of them.
14.
Yeah.
Okay, I missed 2 somewhere.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
So what was your first one?
My very first book was The Disappearance of U-491. It's about a German U-boat, actually, that disappeared.
Now, I know you haven't been on a German U-boat, but any experience of having military or know somebody in the military that brought that to the front?
No, but like I said, I'm a history nut. So where I love to study and read about history is the 1900s, especially the mid-1940s and 50s, World War II era. There was a couple of fantastic movies that came out. Kind of gave me the idea there to start doing one.
Huh. Now, how long did it take you to write this one?
This book here, The Lake Murray Murders, about 4 months or so.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So I know you've had a book signing for this, but this book sort of really took off.
Yes.
Crazy like.
Yes, this is by far the best-selling book that I've ever had.
Right. Because I'm pretty sure when I bought mine, I think Amazon even said it was low stock. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I'm glad I got it now.
At one time, it was number 13 in the murder mystery category, something like that. Yes.
Nice. Congratulations.
I was ecstatic.
Yeah, absolutely. You said about 9 years ago, had you ever thought about writing ever before, or this just really was inspired by your friend?
Yeah, no, I've never even considered writing a book before then. I've always been a reader. Like I said, I love history and I love especially military history in general. And when she told me about it, I was like, I was going through like a dry spell right then of couldn't find a book that I wanted to read. So I said, well, hey, let me try and see if I can make my own.
Right.
And just kind of,
yeah, well,
why not?
I think you did it.
So,
now, you've got 2 other books that I found interesting, The Prince of Deception and The Brazilian Affair. Now, tell us about those, The Prince of Deception. Start with that one. That was published in 23.
Well, the Price of Deception, it has to do with, again, a young lady who's living in New York City at the time, and she's lonesome, and she literally runs into the love of what turns out to be the love of her life when she's out for a jog. But lo and behold, after they date a few months, he disappears one night, and they can never find out why or how or anything like that. And it's a little mystery as to who did it and why. And there's a little bit of mystery there as to who did it, and it's not who you think it's going to be.
Right.
The bad guy.
So now let me ask you, I haven't read it. Is it Prince or Price?
Price.
Price. Okay. I wrote Prince, but it was Price because I haven't read that one yet. Do all of your books have a little bit of mystery to them, kind of a whodunit kind of thing?
Lately they have. Lately the murder mystery.
You and my husband cannot meet.
And
he loves that stuff.
And they're all, the last few that I've done there's always going to be a twist somewhere along the way, so it's not who you initially think did it.
Sure. Yeah. Kind of like the movies, they purposely make you think
exactly
here when it's here. Right. And what about The Brazilian Affair? What's that one?
The Brazilian Affair starts off in 1937, right immediately before World War II kicks off in Europe. And it has to do with 2 FBI agents and a murder that takes place. They come to find out the assassin is after one particular person who is going to be on a said ship going to South America. So the 2 agents, they get themselves on board the ship looking for this German agent. And the German agent is a master of spies, a master of disguise. And so now, after the ship takes off, they're going down the coast. They're basically locked on board this cruise liner with an assassin who knows who they are, but they don't know who the assassin is. So
interesting. So again, some of your history coming out with a little bit of mystery.
That book, it was based on a true cruise liner at the time. I actually sent off and got diagrams of the deck plans and everything. So when I say, such and such goes down this corridor, goes through this hallway into another one, that actually happened. It was actually real.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Because I guess with most, maybe not that one, because you probably knew the area, but most of you would probably have to do a good bit of research.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Google Maps a lot of times is my friend. I get a lot of stuff from Google Maps.
Sure. Now tell me, what do you think your favorite part is about being a writer?
My favorite part of the writing process itself is just the research of it. But after the research, when I'm actually writing the books, it's trying to come up with something that's going to tell a good story, but it's going to keep somebody intrigued and kind of trick somebody at the end too, because I don't want to give anything away. Sure.
So having said that, what makes a good story?
What makes a good story? Well, just any kind of mystery, anything that can, in my opinion, anything that can take people away from their ordinary day life and they can climb into a good book somewhere, that's a good book. Mystery.
Yeah. And I think what I enjoyed about this particular book is it was certainly grabbed your attention from the start, but it was an easy read. In other words, I like books because I don't have a whole lot of time to read, but I don't want to have to write a column of characters and where they fit in and have to keep going back and forth.
Exactly. Every single one of my books I try and make for that reason that are easy to read. I have read books for that same thing. When you have to go back and forth and look, that takes the fun out of trying to read the book.
I think for me, now you tell me because you're the writer, but for me as a reader, let's just say this book ended up being a movie. Well, it's going to be completely different in the movie because here in the book, I sort of can imagine the scene and the characters and how they look. I now that I have a story in my head as it might be played out, it felt like.
Exactly.
And that's what I enjoy. And like you said, when things are complicated and you have to keep figuring out who's what, well, my movie stopped.
Yeah, exactly. It's not as fun when you have to constantly go back and forth, like you're saying, and try to figure out, who is this person? What was this person doing? That kind of thing. So all of my books I purposely make them so they're they're a few characters enough, but not too many, so where you can follow what's going on. So where it's just a fun, easy read.
Yeah, and I will say it's a fast, easy read for anybody who hasn't read it, and you sitting by the pool or out on the beach or whatever. I mean, you want to read it fast. It's a fast and easy read, and for readers, they know what I mean. It's a good book.
Yeah.
Especially if you're from this area. You go, hey, I know where that is.
I've had people contact me through Facebook that said they have sat down and read it all in 3 hours.
Right.
So it's
definitely a good week.
Yeah, it's a quick, easy read.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. So what's next? You started anything?
Well, actually, I'm just finishing up another book.
Oh, good.
And it's not a Lake Murray book, of course, but it's another murder mystery, and it takes place partly in the past, in the 1930s and 40s, but it's also in the present day. So,
right.
Cool. It's going to be called The Silent Witness.
Silent Witness. Now, when is that supposed to come out, or you don't?
I have it's already done and complete. I have a person who's reading through it now, beta reading it, pointing out errors and that kind of thing. As soon as I make a few minor changes to what they suggest, I'll have a release date and it'll be done soon. within the month, hopefully.
Oh, wow. Well, congratulations. Looking forward to that one too. So tell everybody where they can purchase other than Amazon, because that's where I got mine. Is there?
Well, right now, Amazon is the main place you can go. There are a few select books, autographed books at High Noon Art Gallery. There where you can purchase them around here. Hopefully, in the very near future, I will have some at the Creekside Restaurant right down the street.
Oh, yeah.
But for now, the best place to get it is Amazon.
Okay, great. Will you grab mine right behind it, and then I'll get you to sign it for me. Thanks. Brought it here. It's a little worn. Again, read it by the pool. Thank you so much. I look forward to the next one.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you. And thank you for being here today.
Absolutely. Thank you. I had a blast. It was fun.
Thanks. Hey guys, thanks for hanging out with me today, and I hope you enjoyed the show. If you'd like to be a guest on the show or know someone you'd like to see on the show, contact me at forallthingslexington.com. That's the number 4, allthingslexington.com.
The For All Things Lexington podcast has been brought to you in part by Stephen Jacobs Books. See all of his books at stephenjacobs.info.
And by Angela Barrett at HomeMattersSC.com. Building on what matters to you.